Welcome to The Explainer. So we're diving into one of the biggest ambitions in tech today, Tesla's goal for a world full of self-driving cars. But as you'll see, the biggest speed bumps on the road to a global robotaxi network, they aren't technological, they're political. You see, Tesla's dream is so much bigger than just selling cars. It's really about building this massive, autonomous ecosystem. We're talking about everything: trucking, your personal car, home batteries, robotaxis, all of it connected through AI. It's a huge, world-changing vision. But that begs the question, right? If the tech is moving at lightning speed, what's the holdup? Why isn't full self-driving available everywhere right now? Well, the answer has less to do with lines of code and a whole lot more to do with something much more complicated: global politics. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to look at this massive regulatory wall that autonomous tech is running into. Then we'll see how that wall looks a bit different in key markets like China and Europe. And stick around for the end because we're going to uncover a really unexpected hurdle for Tesla coming from right inside its own backyard. Okay, let's start with the great regulatory wall. The key thing to understand here is that the biggest slowdowns for Tesla's global FSD rollout, they aren't technical bugs. They're geopolitical barriers. Just look at how quickly things have heated up in the last few years. You've got anti-subsidy investigations in Europe, proposed tech bans in the US over national security. It's like a wall of protectionist policies is going up, brick by brick, which creates a super unpredictable environment for any global company, especially one like Tesla. All right, on to our first big challenge, the China conundrum. Now, this market is absolutely critical for Tesla's success, but it's also where that regulatory wall is probably the highest and hardest to climb. First, let's talk about the competition on the ground. Domestic Chinese brands are on an absolute tear. I mean, look at these numbers. They're on a path to capture over 70% of their own market by 2030. So for any foreign company, that means you're walking into some incredibly fierce price competition. So for Tesla, operating here means navigating a very specific set of hurdles. Getting FSD approval is, of course, the big one, and that's tied directly to China's concerns about national security and data privacy. On top of that, you have to remember that China has this strategic goal of being technologically self-sufficient. And their local companies, they operate at a mind-blowing speed. Their development cycles are almost twice as fast as their global competitors. And this quote here really hits the nail on the head. The pressure from China doesn't just stay in China. It has this ripple effect. As Chinese brands start exporting more, it creates intense competition for legacy automakers all over the world, but especially in Europe. Okay, so let's cross over to Europe. This is challenge number 2, what I like to call the European maze. And it's a maze because it isn't one single wall. It's a much more complex, multi-layered puzzle. You see Tesla actively testing its FSD supervised system all over Europe, on the streets of Paris, London, Rome. But here's the thing. Preparing for a launch is one thing. Actually getting the green light to do it is a far more complicated dance. And this is where that European maze gets really tricky. Tesla essentially has to fight on 2 fronts. First, they're up against broad EU-wide policies like tariffs and trade friction. But then, they also have to get approval country by country, navigating each nation's own specific safety and data privacy laws. It's a total bureaucratic marathon. So we've talked about China, we've talked about Europe, and those challenges are pretty significant. But one of the biggest hurdles for a truly global FSD rollout actually comes from an unexpected place, right back in Tesla's home country. Now, this quote from Elon Musk, it reveals a really fascinating twist. He's basically admitting on an investor call that Tesla's next-generation AI hardware is so powerful that it literally violates American export control laws, which means Tesla might have to nerf, and that's a great term, or deliberately downgrade its most advanced AI chips just to be allowed to sell them in cars outside the US. So think about that. A policy designed to protect American technology is actually preventing that same technology from being fully deployed around the world. It's kind of a boomerang effect. All right, so after navigating this whole global gauntlet of regulations and restrictions, what's the big picture here? What's the road ahead look like? Well, the path to a global full self-driving network is really a 3-front challenge. In China, it's all about competition and data security.
In Europe, it's about navigating that maze of multi-layered regulations. And then, back home, it's about facing U.S. export laws that actually limit the very hardware that powers the whole system.
And this all leaves us with a final, and I think crucial question. For years, the race for autonomy has been framed as a technological sprint, right? But looking at these hurdles, you have to wonder if the real race is actually a political one. So, for a truly global autonomous future, what needs to evolve faster? The AI in the car or the diplomacy between nations?